Hey, everybody, welcome to Average Guy Opinions. I'm your average guy, John Corelli. I'm sweaty because I just got done with a walk. And the lighting's weird because that's my porch light, but I'm under an umbrella. As you can see, it's still kind of light out in the background, but yeah, it's getting dark. I had to go for a walk, and I had to eat chicken and ding dongs like an animal to get the torrent of rage out of my body that that I incurred today. It was a rough day, just all over a rough day. Um, Started off, we went to the DMV. Every good day starts with a trip to the DMV, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. This one could have been worse though. It just took longer than we thought, and I find this really silly. By the way, I don't like the glare of my glasses. I hate my tiny eyes even. Well, today apparently not as much. Anyway, uh, so I got the DMV, and we brought a copy of the of Logan's social security number or card, and that's not good enough, which I find ridiculous. I had his birth certificate. I had proof of my address. He's 16. He can't prove that he doesn't pay any bills, so he can't prove he lives there. I even brought his school ID that also has where he goes to school, and it has his old address. But I said this is where he lives with me. I don't know what else I can do to prove this to you. He's 16. What are we going to do with a fake ID? For a 16-year-old. Okay, so we had to come back. Luckily, we're close to the facility, and the guy was really cool. He said, "Hey, if you get back here quickly, I can hold this place for you, and you won't have to waste any time when you get back." And so that was very nice. So that could have gone a lot worse. Then I went to the bank because since we had his new ID, well, it's actually not showing up for another month, but we have a paper version until he gets the plastic version. And we got to the bank and got him a new account, but that was also just way long. It's like filling out a mortgage. I remember when I was a kid, I didn't even think you needed an ID. You just need a name. I honestly don't remember. I was like 10 years old when I had a bank account because my mom wanted to teach me how to budget and save and all that stuff. I don't remember it being this much paperwork. My parents probably signed something, but oh my God, this took we were there for like an hour. I'm not even exaggerating. I'm like, this is grueling. We had Arby's for lunch. That started to salvage the day a little bit. And then I had to go to my dad's. And oh my God. Okay, I got there around 2:30. And I was like, let's go at it. Let's get some work done. He was like, I don't feel very good. I was like, okay, well, that really doesn't matter. I don't need you to feel good for me to get shit done. This has been my mantra the entire summer, right? And we're down to like, what, 11, 12 days? We don't have a lot of days left. And so it was just a bunch of sitting around, and then he started watching CNN, which I think he just watches CNN to appease me. He's a Fox guy. Let's be real about this. He's a right-wing Fox guy, and whenever the Fox is on, he agrees with everything they say. And I think he just throws on CNN either to appease me or just to bitch that everything CNN does is propaganda, while Fox is just good old patriotic dual-sided journalism, right? So they were showing the four policemen that were involved in the insurrection. That some were actually hurt, and they showed a lot of footage that I think will be new to come out. They showed protesters. I'm not even. Hey, wait, hold on. Those aren't protesters. Those are rioters. Those are insurrectionists. There's a big difference. Okay, and I'm not going to say there were no riots involved with BLM, but this was an outright attack on the capital of our nation. There were guys with like bear mace. Have you ever seen that shit? That is scary. Blowing it right at the cops. And I turned to my dad and go, why were the cops okay using lethal force, i.e. flash bombs or flash grenades or whatever they call them, tear gas, sometimes physical force, rarely shooting, I don't, as far as I know, but why was it okay to use lethal force against mostly peaceful protesters? Celebrating or utilizing their First Amendment rights to peacefully assemble when it's not, and why couldn't they use lethal force against their light, by the way? Why couldn't these police use lethal force against violent insurrectionists? Why couldn't that happen? I don't know. He didn't have a good answer for it, but I said that's why it's called white privilege. Did you look at who was attacking those police officers? Didn't say a lot of black guys. Didn't say a lot of people of color in that group. So my dad and I argued about that for a while. My dad has drank the Kool-Aid, and then of course course, when you start talking about insurrection, and you talk about Trump, and you talk about BLM, you talk about Maxine Waters, and eventually you get into the racial talk, you eventually come to George Floyd. And here's the latest. I don't know. My dad, I think, has fully gulped down the QAnon Kool-Aid. I don't think he even knows what QAnon is, but he'd be a perfect member because he told me, this is the latest thing. He's always said he's on drugs, and maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't know. Then he said, then they said the cops let him out of the car because he was freaking out. I was like, that's really rare. I've never heard of that. That's why they have a cage in there and it's all padded. Let him wear himself out. So you let a guy that wants to get out of a car out of a car. Okay, well that's on you, cop. And then he said, oh well, the first thing they have to do after they read him his Miranda rights is aid him. I was like, what are you talking about? I've talked about this before. We have Supreme Court decisions that say they don't even have to protect us. What are you talking about? They have to aid him. Oh, it's in their oath. Oh yeah, because if we know anything about every police officer, is that they swear on their oath and follow it perfectly. Okay. Once again, this isn't an indictment on the cops because there were 4 seemingly perfectly good cops that gave testimony to the horrors they witnessed on January 6th. But so back to George Floyd. So I said, so how is leaning on a handcuffed man's neck aiding him, and why were none of the other 4 officers aiding him? and I said, he's losing bowel control. It was obvious he was in distress. He wasn't getting aided. He was getting killed. My dad said, oh no, that was that fluid you saw. That was, I swear to God, I can't even say it without laughing. It's so insanely out of left field. He said, oh, that was out of the tailpipe of the police car. That was condensation. Like, dude, I've been driving a long time. You've been driving a long time. I've never seen that much condensation come out of a tailpipe in that short of a time. Bullshit. He gets pissed. This is why I don't like arguing with old people sometimes, because if you start winning the argument and you start making sense, too much for them, and you literally say like the word bullshit or you're full of it, they get pissed. And don't be a wise guy. Show me some respect. No. Show some respect for the argument. Show some respect for fucking George Floyd. Show some respect for truth. Okay? Don't tell me. Don't tell me, what is it? Don't tell me it's raining when it's pissing. It's almost literal metaphor for this. So yeah, by the way, are tailpipes on the sides of cars now, of police cars? That's a new thing. Why that came under the car in a perpendicular flat fashion. What are you talking about? So we had, but it was just a brutal day with that man. 4 hours of waiting around, doing nothing. I went into the closet, because he has a closet full of towels. It's like a fucking hotel. I mean, there's just literally dozens of towels. He's a 74-year-old man. He needs 4. Right? Yeah, I said, hey, I made a box for you. I put 2 big towels in there. I put 2 hand towels in there. I put like 4 washcloths. That should be fine. And by the way, I'm going to keep the rest at my place, and if you need them, you tell me and I'll bring them to you. And he's like, no, I got to go through them. I go, let's go through them. He's like, I'm too tired. You are at the end of my rope, Joe Corelli. You really tested me today, and honestly, I am counting down the days till when I can't and will not help you anymore. The date is August 8th. That's it. After that, I'm fucking bye. And I told him, I said, it's like watching a guy in the desert, or not even the desert, like here in Colorado, sometimes there's really hard dirt, and it's hard to dig it up. And it's like watching this man scratch at it and scratch at it. And I got a shovel, and I'm like, I'll dig that hole for you. And he's like, no, fuck you, I got this. That's what it's like. It feels like that every damn day with this man. Today was the worst day of all. Literally got 1 box out of there. 1 box. We didn't do anything. Nothing got accomplished, or next to nothing. And so it was a very frustrating day. I don't know if I'll go back tomorrow or not. We'll see. I might need a day off. It's supposed to be 99 here in Denver, and I don't want to just sit in his warm house, hot house, doing nothing. I just can't do it. It's just like torture. So when it was funny, when I did get home today, I think I mentioned it at the top. I went to King Soopers, and they had nothing I wanted except for some cheap chicken, and as soon as I picked it up, just fell right on the fucking thing, and I'm just like, this is the day. This is a day. This is a bad day. I said, fuck it. I scooped in there and I said, fuck it. I just got out. Went to the self-checkout, got out, got home, ate chicken like an animal. I said, Logan, don't watch me. This is when your father's ugly. Had a ding-dong slammed with some milk. Probably gained 5 pounds, but here we are. Thanks, Joe Corelli. I blame you. All right, that's kind of a night vibe. We haven't had one of those in a while. Thank you guys for watching and listening. I appreciate you all. And sorry, that was just a rant, but it was one I needed to do. See you later. Bye.